Good afternoon, everyone. It's a nice evening to have you on board. Thank you for such a great speech, Dr. Mary Okero. I'm actually very delighted to be here, and I celebrate all the teachers. I'm a firm believer, and I have lots and lots of passion in teaching, and I celebrate my teachers worldwide too. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much, and karibu sana. Next, we'll just hear opening remarks from Ms. Mudeu Kasanga.
Thank you very much, everyone. Dr. Mary Okelo, some of us walk in the path that you hacked, literally hacked through. So it's a great honor to see you and to see everybody on this chat and this meeting. As we celebrate teachers, for us in the private school sector, like Dr. Okelo has mentioned, the pandemic was an interesting and very a time that shocked the system. And for us in the private sector, we actually carried the burden of the shock in the entire education system. And it is good to see teachers' lives back on track. So many teachers suffered during the pandemic, especially private school teachers and teachers who are employed by school boards. But for us in the private sector, it was truly a horrific time. And as we look forward and as we celebrate teachers today, and we celebrate their resilience and celebrate how, despite the shock of the pandemic, that teachers came back to work and are able to carry out, that very noble honor of rearing the next generation that we have been given, with and making sure that the children have the best of the efforts they can put in. For us, we have to think forward and imagine what is it that we need to do to ensure that we never get injured the way we got injured last year during the pandemic. What is it that schools can do? What is it that governments can do to ensure that Kenyans do not suffer the way we suffered? I mean, going 9 months without a salary, it's just not human. It is inhuman. And we have to work together with governments to make sure that this never happens again, to prepare ourselves better. Dr. Mary has actually listed a few things I was going to mention. So we are speaking one language, that we have to work in synchronicity with the government to make sure that teachers' lives are always on the upward trend and not so prone to suffering as they have, especially last year. So once again, Lorraine, thank you so much for inviting me here. I am truly honored to be in this panel. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Thank you for those opening remarks. And yes, we'll engage further and hear probably some of the initiatives that we all can do, or together we can have a partnership that promotes the well-being of the teacher. Next, we'll just hear opening remarks from Mwalimu David Oket.
Thank you all. Good evening, everybody. And I thank Lorraine for giving me the chance to be in this panel. I'm honored actually to be here amongst great ladies, and more so Dr. Okelo. I've heard about you, I've spoken to you, though maybe not remember me, but we've been talking once in a while. Everyone Square, the ones you mentioned was actually in our church. And I remember how you used to talk good of you as she was working with you. As you all heard, is that I have been a teacher for the past 33 years, retired now for the past 11 years. And I thank God actually for my teachers who taught me. I know that before I became a teacher, I went through the hands of teachers. And I must say that the molding they gave me, the teaching they gave me, made me what I am. And I remember, I think my best years were in high school, where I had teachers like Westwell, teachers like Mr. Ayu, who were really strict, and they made sure that the learning, everybody who came there came out fully equipped to become a better person than when they entered. And I felt that after going through that high school, I expect myself now it's my turn to give back to the society. I went back to university and did my Bachelor of Education. And indeed, I was so happy that I was able to go back to my old school to begin the work there. And the title of this topic today, whereby they talks about the teacher being the candlelight for the others, that indeed is so befitting. Because as Dr. Okello has said, without a teacher, we are nothing. Just like without God, we are nothing. So all the persons we see in this world, the doctors, the MPs, all politicians, the engineers, are there because of the effort of the teachers. And what I see, what I know, because having gone through the whole hog of the system, that the status of the teacher has not been recognized as should be the case. I think there's a lot the government should do for the teacher, because at times I used to visit a teacher in the kindergarten and teach in the primary school, and those teachers have a lot of work to do. And if you look at what they're given as a form of pay, you should surely say, is this? So as Dr. Okello was saying, that it is high time the teacher was given a special place in this country and this government. And as I'll mention again later on, is that even after retirement, the teachers live in abject poverty because of what they take home at the end. And it's very unfair for the government likely to sideline the effort of the teachers, because without them, they can't be the president. Without them, they can't be the Matiang'i. Without them, they cannot be the Railas, the Ruto. They can't be who they are. But yet, when the parliamentarians think about retirement, they think of heavy packages for themselves. But the issue of rewarding the retired teachers in a way befitting is never in their menu. So it's a prayer that, Lorena, as you come out with all these initiatives, when time comes, it's important that we need to approach the right people so that the teacher can be placed where he belongs, as the shaper of life, as the light that opens the way, that lights the way for everybody else in this world. Thank you.
Thank you. Great, and welcome on board. So we'd like now to go to a panel discussion where we just delve into some of these issues. Some of them you've alluded to them. And just to remind everybody that the World Teachers Day is held annually on 5th of October, and it is to celebrate teachers all around the world. And this is the reason we are gathered here, to celebrate teachers. And I want to begin the panel discussion by just reading a message by UNESCO on the World Teachers Day. And the message says, on World Teachers Day, we are not only celebrating every teacher, we are calling on countries to invest in teachers and prioritize them in global education recovery efforts so that every learner has access to a qualified and supported teacher. Let's stand with our teachers. And what an appropriate message that just anchors us into our discussion today. And I'll begin with a question. The teacher is the candlelight of others. You know, you light the candle for everybody else and they go on to become great. What are some ways that you feel the government can invest and prioritize the teacher so that while we're saying that the learner needs to get access to a qualified and supported teacher, so what investments can be put in place that can support this teacher so that we get a qualified and supported teacher that is now going to be accessible for the learner? And we could start with you, Mwalimu David Okech.